What is good, my reflections? Welcome. We are over here talking about hoodoo this week. We're going to talk about hoodoo and we're going to talk about voodoo, but this week we're mainly focusing on hoodoo. A lot of people can get voodoo and hoodoo misinformed. They can get it confused. But with that being said, hopefully by the time this week and next week is over with, then you will obviously have the difference in hoodoo and voodoo, okay? Because sometimes it can seem very similar, but it is a completely different practice. With that being said, let's keep it going. And hoodoo, what exactly is hoodoo? Hoodoo is a culture. Hoodoo is an inheritance and hoodoo is a rebellion. Okay. So, with that being said, reflection, I want to definitely tell you a couple of stories. And the stories that I am referencing from is a book that I showed you above. So, with that being said, the first one that I would love to talk to you about is Black Herman. Who is Black Herman? And if you have this particular book, then you can find this story on page 29. Okay? So, who is Black Herman exactly? Black Herman was the magician. Truly, I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. Remember, the first thing in magic is intent. Okay, that is actually out of Matthew 17:20. So, with that being said, the particular plant that was very sacred to Black Herman was the snake root. Okay, when you're doing different root work, then you will find different herbs and different plants. So you can definitely go and do more research into the snake root, or you can definitely check out. I'm not sure where you're watching this video at because I'm streaming it at several different places. But if you're on the night school, then you can definitely go in the in the herbal form and see different herbs that would definitely be good when it comes to doing that. Do you believe in magic? Okay, or you can wait for the snake root because we'll definitely do a review on that as well. So Black Herman. Let's talk a little bit more about who Black Herman is. And this is Black Herman in this picture that is depicted. It says Black Herman is dressed in a tux and he holds a stick to the sky that says power in one hand and is pointing to a Zulu drum peeking out from Virginia snake root bushes with the other hand. Okay, as above, so below. Let's keep it going. Benjamin Rucker, also known as Black Herman, was born in 1892 and he passed away in 1934. He was the most famous Negro musician in the history of the United States. He adopted the name Black Herman to pay homage to his two fellow black magicians he admired, Prince Herman and Alfonso Herman. Black Herman's characteristic personality, illusions, and resurrections after being buried alive made him a national sensation. Herman also made a living selling tactics, mail order occult courses, books, pamphlets, and talismans that were designed to protect its wearer from white supremacy. Arguably, one of more interesting aspects of Benjamin Rucker was how he used his platform as an entertainer and hoodoo man to promote his militant black nationality's political beliefs. To further fascinate his mission, Herman decided to relocate to Harlem in New York City. So then he relocated to Harlem, okay, which was also ground zero for devout followers of Marcus Garvey. Herman even claimed he was born in the dark jungles of Africa and was apprentice of Zulu witch doctors, reflecting both his acceptance of pan-Africanist ideology and a knack for clever marketing. But Black Herman was actually a Virginia native who migrated north in search of greater opportunities and an escape from terrorism in the South. He had self confidence and a strong will to succeed. That was the magic that made him legend. His intent, baby. He had intent. Shout out to Black Herman. Okay, so with that being said, let's talk about Miss Ida. Okay, let's talk about Miss Ida. Miss Ida, and you can find this on page 31 in the book. Miss Ida, who is also represented as the high priestess, be still and know that I am God. This is Psalms 46:10. Okay. This is her saying, be still and know that I am God. A plant that's very sacred to Miss Ida is the Jersey tea. Okay, so you can definitely go look that plant up and see the benefits out of using the Jersey tea. Okay, a 7-year-old Miss Ida Carter is standing in the attic surrounded by candles. It is dark, but she's not afraid because she's an old soul who understands that she is never really alone. You know how sometimes you'll see children, but they'll know so much? That's that old soul. Ida, which is seven sisters Carter, remember she's surrounded by seven candles symbolism. Okay, she was born in the 1900s, but nobody is sure when she actually passed. She was a root worker from Huntsville, Alabama. There isn't much information about Miss Ida, but she was told in interviewer that she was called to root working at just 7 years old. Miss Ida recalled the process of her self initiation, which consisted of burning seven candles. That's why it's called the Seven Sisters, okay? All night long while she prayed, starting at the 1st of May and continuing for 6 consecutive nights. So she started at the beginning of May and she did it for 6 nights. Okay. She burnt those seven candles all night long while she prayed. Miss Ida repeated this process each May for 7 years until the Holy Spirit told her that she was ready to go work for the community. Okay, so she did that starting at 7 years old all the way till she was 14. When she was 14, she started working for the community. Okay, so with that being said, let's talk about John Horse. Now, who is John Horse? Where there is no guidance, a people fall. But in an abundance of counselors, there is safety. Okay? Proverbs 11:14. The plant that is very sacred to John Horse is the cypress plant. And this is a very good plant to go do a little bit research into reflection. Okay, it's a lot of benefits from the cypress plant. Okay, so with that being said, let's keep it going. John Horse is seated calmly on his throne. He has a rifle strapped to him. He's clutching a knife in one hand, and in the other hand is balled up into a tight fist. He's ready for anything. However, John's most powerful weapon, arguably, is the prophet Abiakus, who is busily summoning spirits to keep the community safe. Abiakus' clan Totem, the Black Panther, is poised for a vicious attack against anyone who dares to challenge them. Okay, so who is John Horse? John Horse, who was born in 1812 and he passed away in 1882, also known as Juan Calabal, was born into slavery in Florida. Not much is known about his early life, but he became a leader of the Seminole Indians and participated in the Second Seminole War, which prior to the war in Vietnam was in the United States Army only non-victory. In addition, in 1849, John Horse led the largest escape of enslaved people to freedom in the U.S. history. He also founded free settlements for the runaways in Oklahoma and in Mexico. By the time of his death, John Horse had fought against the French, the Americans, and the hostile Indians working in conjunction with the colonists. He avoided slave catchers, 3 wars, and several assassination attempts. These are but a few of the few warrior outstanding accomplishments. That's just what they know about reflection. That's just what they saying. John Horse wasn't nobody to play with. Let's keep it going. He defended free black settlements on 3 frontiers and was said to love children, whiskey, and his noble white stead American. Okay. The man who has been credited as John Horse's spiritual guide and mentor was Creek medicine man and a prophet named Abiaka Hidijo, which he was born in 1760 to 1860, okay, which is also known as Sam Jones. Though Abatika or Abika was not as well known to the public as John Horse, he was no less important to maintaining and navigating the cohesions of the Seminole people. In fact, without Sam Jones, who is also Abaka, or Abiyaka determination as a leader, many women, children, and elders would have been slaughtered. Okay, so he saved a lot of women, a lot of children, a lot of elders. You get what I'm saying? A lot of leaders. Okay, he could he was the one, he was the connection to the people. Okay. The Seminoles would not have a band in Florida to this very day if it wasn't for him. Shout out to him. Okay, Sam Jones' name is translated as crazy rattlesnake in English, but the Creek word abaca is said to mean heap at the root. Okay, or abakia. Don't reflection. I might be mispronouncing. Okay, in the immortal words of Morpheus, the Matrix, fate, it seems, is not without a sense of irony. Okay. So with that being said, reflection that we look. So, did y'all know that without John Horse that Florida wouldn't even have a band to this very day? So we are seeing a lot of things that a lot of our elders are the reason why stuff is still here today. It's like you can see their presence today. Just like a great one once said, do you know your great great grandfather? And they're like, no. And then he's like, but his nose is sitting right on your face. I thought that was a very great saying and a very great a way to put that, a great way to put that. Okay, so just because you can't see something doesn't mean it's there. Okay, so just because you can't remember something doesn't mean it didn't happen. Let's keep it going. I also want to talk about Railroad Bill. Who is Railroad Bill? Okay. With God, we shall do validity. It is He who will tread down our foes. This is Psalms 108:13. And we all know Psalms is a book of spells. Okay. And we're actually going to go through a couple of those on another day. We're actually going to go through the book of Psalms and we're going to talk about each spell and different things like that. So with that being said, the plant that is very sacred to Railroad Bill is the maca. Okay, a maca. With that being said, let's talk a little bit about Railroad Bill. Railroad Bill is waving at the people cheering for him in the distance. Railroad Bill. If you haven't heard about him, woo, reflection. Let's get started. Okay, Railroad Bill, whose birth is unknown, but he did pass away in 1896, was a laborer with no clear past at his name, place of birth, and many other details about his life remains a mystery. So nobody really knew where he came from. He's like he just popped up from nowhere. Reflection. But what we do know is that the authorities claimed he was a man named Morris Slater. Okay. And we know the hell that he put them through. Okay. So Railroad Bill, also known as Morris Slater, and the authorities, baby, he put them on for a run. Let's keep it going. Let's see what Railroad Bill Morris Slater was over there doing. Well, it all started in 1894 while Bill was employed by a turpentine worker in the Bluff Springs, Florida. When an altercation, he exchanged gunshots with a deputy. The cause of the row has been lost to this time. So don't nobody even know. They just sent them over there talking. Next thing you know, gunshots going off. You get what I'm saying? The cause of this tow has been lost to this time. But it was from this day on that he became an outlaw. Railroad Bill said, I already shot at him, so I might as well, you get what I'm saying? I might as well go on and run for it. Before I do, I'm gonna give him a little hell. Let's keep it going. Let's see what Morris Slater was talking about. Railroad Bill committed train robberies and engaged in fatal gunfights with the lawmen and bounty hunters who traveled from all over the country to collect the substantial bounty on his head. Bill usually rode along the Louisville and Nashville Road, or also known as the L&N, in southern Alabama. Naturally, the daily reports of Negro desperado gunning down a white man sold a lot of papers. So they was, Medea, she'll get the press and just blow it up, baby. So Railroad Bill said it wasn't even that big of a deal. I just shot at his feet, baby. And they blew it out of proportion. That's what he said, reflection. Okay. So it says, and it didn't take long before the folk hero, aka Robin Hood, was born. So when you hear the tale Robin Hood, this is where that story actually comes from, reflection, okay? According to the members of the Black community at the time, Bill used his spiritual powers as a countryman to avoid being captured by transforming himself into a fox to throw the dogs off his trail. He became the personification of the clever trickster who appeared in both indigenous American and African folklore, so much so that the legend continued to grow well into the 20th century. There are many songs about Railroad Bill by artists such as Riley Puckett, Viria Ward Hall, Jed Taylor, Thomas Dorsey, Will Bennett, Jack Elliott, Bill Williams, Joanne Baez, and others. In 1981, Bill was resurrected and cheered by the working class once again when the musical play Railroad Bill was produced by New York City Labor's Theater, one that was founded specifically to attract proletarians or proletariats. Okay. So with that being said, Railroad Bill wasn't playing reflection. Railroad Bill was out there giving them problems. And I bet did y'all know that that Robin Hood actually came from this man named Railroad Bill, aka Morris Slater? Okay, reflections. I'll tell you, history will get lost in time. Okay, so with that being said, hit the like and subscribe button if you're over there on YouTube. If you're over here at the night school, I'll see you next time. Ashe, ashe, ashe.